Hi, my name is Christina and I am your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf, and today I am bringing you Trust with a Chaser by Annabeth Albert. This is book number 1 in the Rainbow Cove series, and I read book 1, I've read book 2, and I am in love. I'm quite addicted to Annabeth Albert, and anything that she writes I'm like, all right. And I kind of fell behind on my Annabeth Albert books. I was really sad, but now I'm catching up. Book number 1 focuses on Mason Hicks and Nash Flint. Mason has come back to town, he's brought 2 friends with him, and they've started a tavern, Rainbow Tavern. The thing with Mason though is his last name is Hicks. And Hicks in this town, it doesn't bring up good feelings. They're kind of a troublesome bunch. But Mason wants to show the world that just because his last name is Hicks doesn't mean he follows their regime. Only Nash didn't get this memo. He is the sheriff. He's kind of in the closet and he sees Mason Hicks as a Hicks. Done, the end, no more. It really takes a lot to whittle and do and get Nash to see Mason as an individual. He is just Mason. Don't look at the last name, don't look at the past, he's just Mason. Some things that kind of help herald these two together is that there seems to be a breakout of vandalism throughout the town on a lot of small businesses. Rainbow Tavern is not excluded in this. This brings Nash and Mason a little bit closer because Mason does a lot of the paperwork. And so he has to deal with the insurance and everything that goes with the vandalism that happened, plus Nash. And Nash seems to come in frequently to the tavern. And so it can either be a nerve-grating situation or a, oh my God, the sexy sheriff is back situation. And we kind of have both. And then another log is thrown into this fire. Mason has a huge responsibility that's kind of like dropped on him besides the tavern. All of these things that keep mounting and coming and showing Nash that Mason is an adult, very mature, and just because his last name is Hicks doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing. It's like you're putting the sins of the father onto the son. And in that respect, Nash has put a lot of influence from his father onto himself. As I said, he's sort of still in the closet. You live in Rainbow Cove and you would think that it would be totally like gay friendly, but there are still people that live in the past, live in the era of Nash Flint's father, and that was not acceptable. People he works with have this mentality, there's some people out in town that have this mentality, and he just wants to be the sheriff. So he's kept all of that to himself. Yet rumors start to fly when he frequents Rainbow Tavern. And he says, I'm there for lunch, they have really good burgers. But you know, it's a small town. And finally when Nash Flint breaks and says enough is enough, enough of holding his father above his head and saying these are my standards, enough of putting the sins of the father against Mason and saying, okay, you are just Mason, enough of letting the town, letting some employees, letting the past get in the way of his future. Once Nash Flint says enough is enough, it's like this beautiful thing that happens in the story. I love these 2 characters. I love the past. I love the angst that we have going on in this story. It's not just one massive thing. We have something major that Nash Flint has to deal with. We have the tavern that we see Mason and his 2 friends, Adam and Logan, that they have to deal with. And we get to meet his 2 friends, kind of fall in love with his 2 friends, and one is the star of book 2. And then things just compile, and kind of watching them go from afar to working together to falling in love. It was very precious to watch. I am giving Trust with a Chaser by Annabeth Albert 5 stars because I loved the characters, I loved the backstories, I loved the story, I loved the angst, I loved everything about it. Watching them have to deal with who they are, who they've let themselves become, the ghosts on their shoulders, putting their foot down, doing what they have to do, coming together, falling in love. Such a good story. So what I am going to do for you is I am going to leave the Amazon link down below so you can click it and be on your way to reading greatness. If you've enjoyed this review, I'm going to ask that you help me with that YouTube algorithm. Give me a like, leave me a comment. I love to interact with all of you guys, and go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I am now recovering from surgery number 2 of this year. So I honestly don't know when and what content will be out, and that is the magic of the subscribe button, is that you will get a notification when I have something new for you. If you like me and think this chick's pretty awesome, down below I'm going to leave stalker links aplenty. Go, click, investigate, enjoy. If you have a book or an arc you'd like me to read or some light editing proofreading you would like done, you may request via website. Trust with a Chaser by Annabeth Albert, Rainbow Cove, book number 1, 5 stars. Bye. Hi, my name is Christina and I'm your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf, and today I am bringing you Off Base, book number 1 in the Out of Uniform series by Annabeth Albert, published by Carina Press. What we have here is Mr. Zach Nelson. He just became a Navy SEAL. He's got his trident pin. Everything is just kind of perfect for him. Besides the fact that he's completely in the closet. Like, so far back in the